Getting hurt by a fish or injuring a fish can put a real damper on a great day of fishing, as well as returning an injured fish to the ecosystem can defeat the point of catch and release. So today, we're going to teach you some tips and techniques that keep both you and the fish healthy. Hey y'all, Ethan Stokes here, fisheries biologist with Pond King. Many of you may not know, but I'm also a tournament angler. I'm able to use my training in biology as well as my extensive knowledge in fishing to help me maintain the health of my catch throughout the day and help me safely handle any other non-intentional species I may encounter as well.
I've learned the hard way that getting injured by a fish is no fun. First, it hurts. Second, those injuries are susceptible to infection and require a little more care than your typical scrape. That's why I'm going to give you a couple pointers to help keep you and your catch safe and healthy.
First, let's talk about the most popular game fish in North America, the largemouth bass.
The most popular and common way to handle a bass is by lipping. Lipping is a very simple technique, however many people are not aware that there is a right and wrong way to hold a lipped fish. Lipping is simply done by grabbing hold of the bass's bottom jaw. Where most people mess up and injure a fish is how they hold the fish afterwards. When holding the fish, it is always best to support the fish's body in addition to holding its lip. When you need a free hand, take a hook out or get a picture, always make sure that you're not bending the bottom jaw at an unnatural angle. An easy way to check this is to make sure the fish's body is hanging straight down. If you damage the fish's jaw, the fish's ability to hunt will be severely diminished. This leads to weight loss and eventual mortality. To avoid this, when you're holding the fish with only one hand, be sure the lower jaw stays in line with the fish's belly and the body hangs straight. This prevents any unnatural torque on the fish's jaw.
When holding a bass out for his picture, it's best to use two hands. One hand holding the jaw, while the other one is supporting his belly and the majority of his weight. When two hands are not available, make sure you keep that bottom jaw in line with his body and at a natural angle. Anytime you're handling fish, it is best to avoid any unnecessary removal of their slime coat.
This is important because the fish's slime coat is its natural barrier that helps them resist parasites and disease. They are already going to be stressed from being caught and don't need the added stress of that barrier being compromised as well. The best way to prevent loss of slime coat is to keep all handling surfaces wet. This includes your hands, boat carpet, bump boards, rulers, and especially a weigh-in bag. If you follow these simple practices, you'll return a fish that is much healthier back to the ecosystem and let it fight another day. So now, let's talk about how to keep you safe.
There are a number of ways you can inadvertently get hurt by a fish. The methods for avoiding injury are dependent upon the species and the species' natural defenses that you're trying to avoid.
Let's start with spiny-rayed fishes such as sunfish. Spiny rays are a defense mechanism against predation. Sunfish often rely on their spiny dorsal fins throughout their entire life to avoid getting consumed by predators. That is why bass have evolved to swallow them head first, and why predators such as muskie simply prefer soft-rayed fishes like shad. If you catch a fish with a spiny dorsal and you can't lip them, you need to slide your hand from their head back to lay their dorsal down. That way the spines won't stick you.
You can use a similar technique to that of handling a bluegill while handling juvenile catfish. However, as catfish mature, it is best to handle them from the underside of the body near the pectoral fins. Now let's talk about handling a species with a mouthful of teeth or sharp gill covers. Both can be difficult without a lot of experience. Some species would be pike, muskie, walleye, and gar. Here in Texas, you're most likely to run across one of our species of gar. The easiest and safest way for handling these fish is by use of a lip grip. This helps you maintain control of the fish without your hand having to be right near their mouth. If you're like me and don't typically carry one of these with you, you might have to use your hands. I think walleye are the easiest to handle because they don't tend to thrash around as much as some other species such as pike and muskie. What you can usually do is slide your hand up underneath their head and grab onto the skin where the gill flaps meet the head. Be careful not to grab onto the operculum because it is sharp and it can rip easily, causing serious injury to the fish. This similar technique can be used for pike and muskie as well.
Gar are probably the most difficult species to handle because they have a long, narrow head, which is very difficult to get a hold of. In addition, the teeth of a gar protrude outside the edge of their mouth, which means they can cut you just by hitting you with the side of their head.
When handling gar, I suggest holding them in a manner similar to that of larger catfish, with one hand underneath the body near the pectorals and another on the tail in order to maintain control of the entire body. Hopefully these tips help keep you and your catch safe and healthy. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below and we will get right back to you. If you like this type of content and would like to see more, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel and we'll see y'all down at the pond.